Hey, welcome to another episode of the Twisted, Bent, and Exhausted Entrepreneurial Podcast. My name is Jeff Harrison, along with my co-host,
Leslie Spoor.
She's a dancer. You see her.
She's really not a dancer if you watch this, but I like to do something that's different, energizing and positive.
She does 2 shows a night, 3 days a week.
Oh, the recording just started. It missed all of that.
Yeah. Okay. Here we go. No, it got it all. And plus, if not, I have plenty of footage of you dancing. So we've got that. So Leslie, well, first of all, if you missed our last episode, I think it's important to go back and just take a look at that. You might skim through it because we're talking about if you, as the business owner, is going on cheap. In other words, you're hiring the cheapest. You're trying to get away for the least expensive, how that can backfire on you. And one of the things that Leslie said in our last episode, and I love this, I wrote it down, frugality is smart, cheap is expensive. I love that. Did you just make that up last week?
I did sort of, yes.
That's pretty good. So that's a tweetable. You can tweet that out. Yeah. So this week, what's on the agenda? What's the docket for today?
Well, so some of my most favorite episodes that we do are kind of Stump Jeff episodes. So I like to give you questions and see how you answer them. I already have the answer, so we'll just see how that goes. Jeez. But today I thought we should talk about, because I know you're super excited about this, in the world of AI, people, we all know about ChatGPT and Grok and OpenAI. I don't know what all the different ones are. There's tons of them. We all know about them, and a lot of people use them for various different purposes. But I don't think they're thinking as big as you do about it, about ways to really leverage the information, how it can help you. And so I thought today we could do a podcast about what is a mastermind group and how you can use AI to help you with that, because I know you're very, very excited about this. So the very first thing, do you have anything to say before I hit you with the first question?
Well, I agree with you. I'm very excited about it. It's one of those things that I remember reading something. I saw something. It's a show we all know and love, but it was for some reason, I think I want to say it's on The Wizard of Oz. Is like, I grow up every morning and think of the 3 or 4 things that are typically thought of as impossible. And that's that wide mind thinking. And, here before we get started is this: we live in a world of finite, right? We have a finite life expectancy. We have a finite number. We think we have finite as far as resource, things like that. So that's how our mind is always working, right? There's only so much of whatever. But what AI has really done is it's shifted that, and this is where the opportunity lies, is we live in an infinite world now. And it's like whatever you thought wasn't possible yesterday, today it could be, or tomorrow it is. It's the wildest thing. So I want you to really stretch your imagination. Think, what if it could be possible? There was a saying that I've heard from Tony Robbins and many people over the world that said, if you had all the money and the time you needed and you knew you could not fail, what would it be? And most of us, including myself, will say, yeah, but I'm not, so I won't try it.
Oh, that's not true. I don't believe that.
Well, but I'm not saying all of us, but that's where a lot of us will have this finite amount of thinking. Well, that's not me. I can't do that. Well, I'm going to stretch your mind today. Hopefully we'll see what the questions are.
Yeah, this is a really interesting topic. I hope everybody stays for the whole thing, because I think they're going to learn a whole bunch. And I can just see, because this has got me really jazzed up today. I'm just so excited. I can really see how people will grasp this idea and run with it. And I think this will change people's lives in ways they hadn't thought about, particularly in their business, but in other ways too. It could do it because you could do this for, we're being very vague, but you could do this for any number of situations. You could do it for therapy. You could do it for health. You could do it for vacation. I mean, you could do it for anything. So
relationships.
Yeah, you could do this for anything, but we're going to talk about business today. So what is a mastermind, and why do I need one?
Well, a mastermind is usually a collection of people that are usually smarter than you. They're not necessarily in your field. In fact, I think it's better to have a collection of people that are not specifically in your field, because I think a lot of times we get in our own place and we have a biased thinking. When we get somebody outside of our field, they can see things that we cannot see. And what this allows us to do is to say, hey, this meeting is about me, but I'm going to ask you questions and you're going to ask me questions to really flesh out any ideas and then give me the support I need and the guidance I need to go forward. So I think it's important to have those people around you. In fact, there's a saying that says, we are a collective of the average of the 5 people we hang out with. And so I'm thinking, well, what if I had a choice of the 5 people I want to hang out with? In this case, I took 7 because I'm kind of, it's infinite, right? So I chose 7. And
don't get there yet. I just want to
okay.
just the mastermind group.
So that's why it's like, it can help me move faster and give me the confidence I need to say, hey, it's not a crazy thought. Let me move forward.
Yeah. When I first was started my business, I started a goals group, which is basically the same thing. Right. And I adopted like 5 people from the chamber who were all in the same approximate position in their business, same length of time in business and whatnot, all different industries. And we got together and we held each other accountable, sort of like we do when we do coaching, right?
Yep.
And that helped. And you could brainstorm and people could offer solutions because it's a forest in the trees mentality. So that's the same thing as a mastermind group. It's just, I called it something different. However, I want to know, what is an AI mastermind?
Well, to me, this is where this has really gotten interesting, Leslie, because what it's allowed me to do, because I've been masterminds before, and what I found out for me is the mastermind, sometimes the group they're less than accountable to one another. And so it's kind of like, okay, we got a mastermind group today, but I know Sally's she's going to still be in the same thing she was 6 weeks ago. But with AI, it allowed me, I posed a question out there. What if and I started with Einstein because I thought, okay, he's one of the smartest guys ever lived, right? And so I said, is it possible for me to create an avatar, if you will, of Einstein that I can have one-on-one conversations with? And my response back was, or the response I received back was, absolutely. And they said, that's a great idea because he's one of the greatest thinkers that's ever lived. And so then I thought, well, wait a second. In the world we live today, we have some people out there that created tremendous amounts of content on YouTube and podcasts and writing and blogs and things like that, books. And I thought, well, what if I pulled up people that are alive today that we could pay tens of thousands of dollars to go sit at their feet? And what if I put them in my mastermind? Is that possible? And if I could say this without being too corny, is ChatGPT got excited when I said that, like, oh my gosh, yes, this is possible. What a great idea. And I said, let's do it. Let's build it.
Right. And so what kind of structure do you need for that kind of mastermind group, an AI mastermind group?
What kind of structure? Well, for me, I put it together like I went out and I chose 3 people that I thought, okay, well, first of all, I created a questionnaire, like, what areas of my life do I want to work on? Is it business? Is it personal? Like you said before, all these things. And so there were 2 or 3 questions that I put together in this questionnaire, and then I answered those questions, fed it back into ChatGPT. So now I said, here are 3 people I definitely want in my mastermind, and I'll let you choose the other 4 based on my desires. And it came back and it was really wild because all but 1, I know and follow and consume their content.
Wow.
And so I thought that was pretty wild. And the other one I'd never heard of, but so far the interaction and the information I've gotten back from them is pretty powerful. So I think the first thing you have to do is say, hey, why am I making this mastermind? Is it to improve, in this case, my business? And if that's the answer, what's the most important thing? Is it growth? Is it systems? Is it financial stability? Is it introducing or building a new product? What is it? And then when you decide on that, then you create a prompt of what each one of those, of the process. So in my prompt, I said, I want to have this group that will listen to the question, and I want each individual to give me their response. and I don't want it to be summarized. I want it to give a specific answer to my specific question. Because if not, it'll just give you these random bullet points. And I don't want that to happen. I want to have it like if I ask you a question, you give me a conversational answer.
Right.
And when I put that in there and it spit it out, it blew me away how great it was.
So do you schedule this for like a weekly or a monthly live sessions with group discussion and like maybe AI demos, or how do you do that?
I can do this as often as I want.
Yes,
can,
but
right?
I'm going to come back to you on that one because yes, but we know how hungry you are for education and how much you enjoy getting attending seminars, webinars, reading books, consuming more knowledge, even though in my opinion, you could be one of these industry people on somebody else's mastermind because you know more about this than almost anybody I've ever met.
Well,
you're always on the cutting edge of this stuff. You're always trying new and different things. And so in order to keep, this is your coach talking, in order to keep you in your lane and continuing with other things, are you going to limit this? Because I could see you could be on this all day long having these conversations.
Well, here's the coolest thing about this, Leslie. This is unlike me saying, "Oh, I'm attending another webinar. I'm attending a seminar. No. I go in with a specific question. Like as an example, today it happened at 4:30 this morning when I started this, and I asked a very specific question on a product that we're building out for. It's really going to be an industry disrupting piece of technology. And so that was the conversation. And I was getting guidance and feedback on that one specific thing. So it wasn't like I was asking, Peter Diamandis as an example. I wasn't asking him questions about, the future and what it's going to make me and blah, blah, blah. It was really, how does this fit into this? Now I did ask Peter Diamandis, and this is the coolest part. I can ask the group a question, or I can ask each individual a specific question and they respond to it without everyone else, but yet they're exposed to the answer. So I can go a little deeper. In this case,
so cool.
In this case, I asked Peter Diamandis, I said, with technology changing so rapidly, I said, one of my concerns has always been putting out a piece of, let's call it a piece of technology or software that by the time I get it out there, it's already evolved into the next level. Is that true? And how should I think about that? And he gave me an answer back, and it made me think, oh, that's wild. So I went to the person I have in my group who's an AI expert. He truly is an expert. And I said, if I'm going to do it in this case, I said, what do you think about that? And he came back and he says, oh my gosh, that's better than what you were thinking before. And so it allowed me to evolve in real time and talk it out.
It's so amazing.
And it's pretty wild. So it truly is like saying, hey, you know what? I got to sit down with some of the 7 greatest minds for my purpose on the planet.
Yeah.
And in an hour and a half, come up with something that was pretty phenomenal.
I wonder if I asked Buddha a question, I would get an answer. But see, that would be skewed because Buddha himself did not create the content. It's other people writing about Buddha. So I'm going to get their interpretation of him. So you have to think about that, because the people you're going to actually created their own content. And so you're actually accessing their brains, if you will, which is a whole different thing. It's like going to Einstein. Einstein's one of my heroes too. Up there with Chuck Yeager, as I told you, I love his fearlessness, and he was literally a crazy man. I think he's still, I don't know if he died or not. I can't remember. I did meet him once, so I was very excited. I got to tell you this story real quick. So I go up to him. I'm at a groundbreaking ceremony for the new Air Force Memorial in DC, and I'm a charter member of that. My name's engraved in there. And he was sitting right across from me, and I'm like, oh my God, one of my lifelong heroes is here. So I go up to him after the thing, and I shake his hand, and I said, hi. I said, I just have to say, you're such an amazing pioneer in the aerospace industry, and what you did was, just incredible. And I have so much respect for you. And he goes, what? He goes, what? And I said it again. He goes, what? And I finally just looked at him. I go, I'm a pilot. And he said, me too. And I thought, well, that was an understatement. But it
Uh,
was like a meet cute. It was so cool to be able to meet with them. So you're getting to pick the brains of these people, many of whom are people that you have followed for years,
yeah.
and are familiar with their philosophies and their thought process and how they do business. So this is hugely beneficial to you and your business, right?
Yes.
But yeah, okay. Do you ever uh, do they provide you with any like templates or how to use AI more efficiently, or is that, I guess that's what you just answered, right? Is that they do actually tell you how to do your own creation more efficiently? Is that correct? Did I
Yeah.
hear that right?
Well, here's the coolest part about this is let's say, for instance, and one of my mentors in the group, in the mastermind, his name is Liam Otley, and he truly is a genius when it comes to AI automation, and he's done some incredible things, and he's like 26 years old.
Wow.
Um, so when we fleshed out what I was talking about, then it was prompted like, well, would you like me to help you create the workflow for that? And I said, absolutely. So with his knowledge and understanding and expertise of how to do this stuff, I'm getting like triple grade A quality output.
Wow. It's
And
kind of freaking me out just a little bit. I mean, I know this is open information. You're not stealing from
Mm,
anybody. You
mm-mm.
don't need permission because all the content that is out there, at least at this point in time, is open to anybody. I mean, you buy people's books, you go to their seminars, you go to their webinars. It's all content they're freely sharing.
Yes.
So it's not like you're taking from anybody.
Mm-mm.
But to get this it kind of reminds me of internet dating. When you're on the internet, when the dating apps first came out and stuff, you got lulled into a false sense of, you got enraptured with people when you really didn't know them, right? Because you only had your own emotions and your own thoughts to put into the words that you're reading. In your case, it's almost like that, except that you're getting the real, I don't know, it's so incredibly cool. I just love this. I think what you're doing is so cool.
Well, thank you.
So
I
go
was just
ahead.
going to let me just add one little piece of that. About 2 years ago on a platform called Delphi, DELPHI.ai, I put in content about me with the whole idea of creating an avatar of me that is an interactive clone. So people, when they have a question when it comes to marketing and now AI, that they could simply ask. And so I saw already when you have a collection of knowledge into a knowledge base on a specific topic, how valuable that can be.
Right.
Honestly, I go in and ask myself questions because it can so quickly put together better answers that at
Yeah.
some point in my life, I did have those answers, but it doesn't forget that stuff. Right. And it
Well,
puts it together in such a cool way.
yeah, I did the same thing, right? I taught the AI I use all of my content. Like I would put in my old newsletters and say, learn my voice, learn my syntax, learn uh, my humor, learn all my stuff. And so now I can write things very quickly because it writes them just like me. I
Yeah.
do sometimes modify for myself, just whatever, but I even say put in a music anecdotes and it does it. Heck, I go every morning before BNI and say, give me a 30-second pitch for my BNI meeting this morning with a strong close for a referral, and it does it. It gives it to me. The only
Yeah.
problem I have with it is that sometimes I forget what it said when I get up there to talk because that stupid timer is over there. I don't like the BNI timer.
Steve, come
I
on.
know, Steve. Okay, so why should you use an AI mastermind? What are the benefits of that besides what we've already talked about?
Well, I think first of all, access. I think sometimes, and I see this when I've been at the front of the room teaching, and somebody doesn't ask a question, but they want to ask a question. They ask you offline because they're afraid because it might be, they think they might be, oh, that's a stupid question. Well, this it gives me an opportunity to ask any question I want without judgment. So I
Right.
think that is a huge piece. The other is every bit of the conversation is recorded, so I can go back and look at it. I can examine it. I can walk away with an action plan. Again, not more knowledge, but more, hey, I've worked out the knowledge in my mastermind. Now I'm going to go take action.
Do you save this as a new project with the specific people in it, so you can always go back to the same one, or do you start new projects every time?
No, what I did is I created what I call a system prompt. And basically what I do is if I'm going to, let's say I'm going to go back and talk about this project we're discussing now, I'm going to go back into the same chat because it has that knowledge base and I'm going to continue it. But if I change, let's say I meet with them later today and I want their input and guidance on something other, I'll start a new chat. And with that, I have that system prompt that will start the conversation. And then I'll put because I was kind of saying, this is who you are, right? And then I'll ask my question and away we go.
Oh, so where do you save those prompts? I know you use ChatGPT. So where do you save those in ChatGPT?
Well, in a way, what I do is I basically just copy and paste it and I just save it. So now I can put that on a Word doc. I can put it on a Google Doc, whatever. Now, what I'm going to be doing is because again, it was 4:30 this morning when I had this aha and did this is I'm going to now connect it to like Airtable or like a Google Sheets. And so now all my conversations will go in there. So that will be something I can refer back to. And I'll just have that automated. So every time I have a conversation, when I'm done, it will just trigger an automation that now it will put all that in there for me.
You'll have to show me how to do that because I lost my whole book I was writing the first time through. And because when you go back at some place along the line and you say, like, you approve a chapter and then it saves it. And then when you say, okay, bring that up, it brings up something completely different.
Oh.
And so, yeah. So I had to redo all of the basic outline for my book and save them one chapter at a time. So I made sure I had them.
Oh, that's brutal.
It is brutal. And then I've got to go enhance those, but it's the same difference. I'm trying to learn how to use the tool better. So would you say then, based on what you've been saying, that using this mastermind group, this AI mastermind group, gives you absolutely accelerated learning and skill building?
Oh, I would have to say absolutely, because most of the time, where do we spend analyzing and deciding if it's a good idea? In our own head.
A lot.
And sometimes, again, that's a biased mindset. And also there's those little monkey minds in there that say, you can't do this. This is a stupid idea, right?
That's why we brainstorm so good together, because I can see things you can't, you can see things I can't. I mean, when you're watching and you're listening out there, we are excellent in brainstorming. I keep telling Jeff, we need to start a business just brainstorming issues for other people because we can solve the whole world's problems, not a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, so that's okay. So I was just saying, I think first of all, the benefit is, again, I can now ask questions that I might have not asked and walked away from a book or a video or a live talk and just wondered about. So right. That's one of those things. I think the other is, it allows me to really flush it out, and it's okay. The cool thing about it is I haven't put these restrictions on him saying, hey, don't ever tell me no. I didn't say things like that, or always tell me how great I am. I didn't say any of that kind of stuff.
No, you can't do that.
I want it to be straight up.
Yeah.
And so if it's a bad idea, I don't want to implement that. And today, when I put that idea out, the idea that I put in there and it said, I'm thinking this is a good tool for some people in industry. And they're saying, Jeff, this could be an industry disrupting technology that could be widespread. And I was excited about that.
Oh, yeah. That's like pet rocks. I mean, that's like the holy grail of ideas, right?
Yeah.
If you can do an industry disruptor, you've made it as far as I'm concerned, because that means you're changing society on a kind of a molecular level. You're actually changing things. God, that makes me like, I'm so jealous of you right now. So basically what you're telling me is that AI masterminds allow you to creatively supercharge your brainstorming, your ideas, breaking through any kind of writer's block or creative block that you might have.
Yeah. One of the coolest things that I saw, let's say at the end of my conversation today, or at the end of questions, is then ChatGPT kind of jumps in and says, hey, would you like me to summarize that? Would you like me to do X, Y, and Z? Or would you like to ask individual questions to so-and-so who may have a better expertise at this? So sometimes the cool part about this, even though ChatGPT, we think, oh, they're not part of our mastermind, they're still listening and prompting to get the very best out of this.
I know. This is so incredibly exciting from a business perspective. Well, from an everything perspective, but especially for us business owners. It sounds like AI, as it always does, increases the efficiency of what you're trying to accomplish and the research related to it as well, so that you don't have to read all those books one-on-one. I know you have, but I'm just saying that if you knew of an author who shared your philosophy and had a special expertise, you may not have time to read his book, but you could definitely access his thought, his philosophy, and his information. Yes?
100%. I'll give you an example. Like once one of the people in my group is Alex Hormozy. And if you know Alex Hormozy, he's one of the greatest offer creators on the planet. He's done, I have 2 books over there. One is called The $100 Million Offer. And so after I put this all together, I said, I want to ask Alex a specific question. Now that I have this all fleshed out and we have it basically built on paper, should I create it or should I pre-sell? And if I pre-sell it, what kind of an offer should I have? And he said, oh my gosh. And you know this, sell from the empty wagon. Sell it.
Oh yeah, you know me.
Yeah, sell it before you actually build it, because then that's proof of concept. When people say, I have to have that, and you can build it, then it makes it more valuable. So that was like that extra little piece in there. So I think for me, it was like, I want these people who know systems. Like I have somebody in here that's great on systems, Dan Martell. And then, let's see, I'm trying to think who else is in there. Oh, and I have Dr. Benjamin Hardy, who wrote many books, but one of them that I've been in his mastermind is 10X is easier than 2X. So It helps me be the person I need to be. And so he's always giving answers from that kind of a standpoint of like, well, if you need to do this is who you need to act as if now. I think our opportunities are endless, Leslie.
Well, if the stories I've read are true, and these days you can't trust anything that you see on the internet or on TV or in the movies, you can't trust anything, because between AI and deep fake and all that stuff, it's really hard to trust stuff. Yeah. However, what I read about Tesla was that Musk went out with started selling the big truck, the Tesla truck,
the
Cybertruck. No, the Cybertruck.
Oh, the Cybertruck, right?
Yeah, before he even built it. And he got tons and tons of orders for it, which then he was able to go to an investor and get an investment to cover the cost of the development. So he pre-sold it. So he absolutely sold with an empty bench, which is exactly what we're talking about. Getting it out there to see if there's interest before you launch is brilliant. Why don't we all think of that? I always sell with an empty bench. When clients say to me, what can you do this? I always say yes, because I know I can make it happen, right? I believe in myself enough to know that even if I don't have the resources this minute, I will find the resources and I will deliver and make good on my promises. I don't just overpromise and underdeliver. I always overdeliver. So selling with an empty bench is the only way as a business owner to grow, in my opinion, right? You have to be willing to take that chance. And I learned that from a mentor of mine years and years ago. When I was at consulting in aerospace, we'd go in and do meetings for clients. And we used to do this one called Common Complaints because businesses, when you walk into them as a consultant, they always say, well, you don't understand my business. So we did a common complaint so we could show them that, yes, we do understand your business. I mean, there is a way to run a business. And I think I've said this many times, is that I know if a business is having meetings during lunch, they're broken. Before I look at anything else. If you're having meetings at lunchtime, you are broken, because you just don't do that, right? So we did the common complaints thing, and clients and the people he was presenting to would say, well, what about this? And what about this? And what about that? And he would say, yes, 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 yes. And I knew for a fact, sitting there watching him, that we did not, right? And so afterwards I asked him, and he explained the empty bench idea to me and why you do that and how it works for you. And it's served me well the last 20 some years, because I learned from him, and he, that is the right thing to do. So I am excited for you with this new product you're making, because I can see where it's going to be wildly, wildly successful for you. We're not going to tell you what it is, but we know it's going to work.
Well, I did reach out this morning to 2 people in that industry to see if I could sit down with them and just to validate what their processes are and make sure I have everything covered. And one of the 2 have already responded back and said, we'd love to get with you. Yeah. We'd love to hear about it. I'm not going in there to sell anything. I'm going in there to validate my information.
Do I know about this project?
You don't.
Well, we need to talk about that after this thing. So I know what it is. Okay. So you're getting real-time feedback, right?
Yes.
And you're also staying on the cutting edge, because as AI evolves, your mastermind group is collecting more and more data, right? So that it can give you
all the time
more and more better responses. And it's learning from what you're asking too.
Yeah. And one of the things is my mastermind, because everyone on that list is constantly putting out new content, it is constantly being synced with that. So you're absolutely right.
Yeah. So you have that collaboration and accountability, right? For what you're trying to accomplish, which you can't ask for more than that. I mean, I think back to the years where I'm on the road carrying a CD player and a DVD reader and a floppy disk drive and an Ethernet cable for dial-up, and ordering books from the failing Amazon at the time and having them delivered to hotel rooms, and ordering music and carrying all this stuff, right? So when the iPad came out, to me, which was the biggest technology breakthrough of our lifetime at the time, I think AI is bigger, but this was, for me, that was an amazing piece of technology, because no longer did I need to carry any of that, right? You can download books, you can download music, you can download movies, you don't have to carry multiple devices. It all plays in one place. And so, and then also back in those days, which are in the 90s and the early 2000s, well, really early 2000s, mostly in the 90s, the video conferencing was so poor, so expensive, that it wasn't available to companies like us. I mean, I wish I'd bought Zoom stock before the pandemic, because I'd have been a bazillionaire, right? Because they really amped it up during that period of time. Or if they did it before that, we didn't know, because it really came into its own. FaceTime, Zoom, I don't know what else there is, but all the different video conferencing, Teams, Microsoft Teams, all that stuff has really shot everything through the stratosphere. So you don't even have to travel if you didn't want to. I mean, you can do everything through video. I still think face-to-face is better, but video conferencing has really improved in the last, how many years has that been? 30 years. So now we have AI, and the way you're using it, that's the part that's so exciting to me. It's how you think to use it. And we keep talking about prompts, but that's how you ask questions. And that is key. It's one of the things you can help people with, right? Is that teach them how to write better prompts, because if you don't write the prompt the right way, you will not get a helpful answer.
Yeah. When and I'll say, I got a bad piece of information from somebody not very long ago. And when I checked it out, it was false. And one of it was when ChatGPT or the newer models, with whether it's Grok or Perplexity or whomever it is you don't need to use prompt engineering to get the results you want. And that is not true. In other words, there's about 6 steps to create a proper prompt. And one of the things is you want to start off by telling it who you need it to be. You are one of the greatest copywriters that have ever lived, right? Yeah. Well, The reason that I'm going to say that false narrative started going around is because we want to just use regular conversational language. Like I go in and say, hey, I want to write a blog for, well, it doesn't have really any reference. It's
Right.
starting out really blank, right? Like,
Right.
hey, we're going to go to a party, go get dressed.
Yeah.
I need a little bit more information. What kind of party is
Formal,
it?
semi-formal, yeah.
Is it a pool party? Whatever.
Yeah.
And so that is, prompting is so essential right now today as it was 6 months ago, a year ago. It's so important because once you create that prompt, and I call them a system prompt, once you create that prompt to get the outcome you want, and you test, and you say, okay, I'm going to do this on, 5 or 6 different, I have a program that I use to test prompts, and I look at the output. And when I get the output I want, that's my system prompt that I know if I put it out there, it will give me my consistent result, not inconsistent.
Is that your software to check the prompts?
No, I use some additional software that's out there that will do that for me, and it allows me to check, to build my prompts and then check them along the way, and then actually say, hey, as I'm building this, I can test and move it around and say, well, what if I use Chat GPT 3.5 with this prompt? What's my output? Oh, it's the same as it is in 4.0. Well, what is the difference there? 3.5 is in fact, 3.5 is free, right? 4.0 you pay for. Or
Right.
I might have put it in Claude, and Claude gives me a better output than the others. Well, then I'll say, okay, when I'm using this particular prompt, I'm going to use it in Claude because that's giving me my consistent output. So those kind of things.
Yeah, but see, that's where you're the industry leader in the AI arena, because that's what you do for a living. So you can afford, and I don't mean financially, I mean, you can afford the time to go look at all these other products to determine what works the best, so that when you work with your clients, then you know what to go use for them specifically. Whereas somebody like me and most of us, we're going to get on Chat GPT or one of the AI thing. I think your wife likes OpenAI, isn't it?
She likes Copilot.
Copilot. Yeah, she likes Copilot. So, because for what she does, that's great, right? She's doing recipes and itineraries and things like that. So, for somebody like me, most of us are going to pick a lane on one of these AIs and we're going to stay there. I've loaded all my content into ChatGPT. I don't want to go somewhere else and have to reload all that.
Yeah.
Right. And even if something newer comes out has some better features, ChatGPT will catch up to it. So I'm not really worried about that. But I know that you use Delphi and you're using StreamYard, which I need to cancel because I'm not going to end up using it. All these things. And most of us don't have the bandwidth to go figure all that out. That's like overwhelm for me to try to figure out all the different options. But that's your area of expertise. Yeah. So that makes sense. And it's one of the things you can help people with.
Well, I was going to say, Leslie, and for probably 99% of people, if they just, as you say, chose a lane and stayed in it, you're going to be fine. Now if you were a research scientist and you're trying to do gene folding and that kind of different conversation, you need a different model. You need the very right. And so, yeah, exactly. And so I think for most people, it's going to be fine. I would just say everyone, when you're doing things, creating a systems prompt for things that you do repetitively is really valuable. And you might spend an hour or two putting that together, but it will save you hours and hours and hours down the road of redoing it. And also the fact is when you get a good system prompt, Leslie, and you put it in there, the outcome is like 98% done. You're just going through and you're just double checking a little here, a little there, but it's pretty much done.
Right.
Versus if you just put a conversational prompt in, you might find yourself going, this is not very good. Well, you didn't get a whole lot to work with.
Well, that's the problem with people that just go into any of these AI applications and just start trying to use it, because all it does then is go out and scrape the internet, and the information you get may not be applicable to what you need, or it could be completely wrong. So you can't exactly use it blind. You really do need to understand what you're trying to accomplish and where you can teach it what you need it to know. It's okay though, like you said, to go say, okay, this author is everything I want to be when I grow up, you know, use his knowledge base to help me with XYZ, you know, and that's okay. But if you just say, tell me XYZ, you're probably not going to get a good result. I don't
Yeah.
think, you know.
I
So
was surprised when I saw my list of 7. I really thought I was going to get somebody in there like a Tony Robbins, and I was surprised that I did not. Even though he's incredibly successful in business, and I think he does about $50 billion a year in business besides his seminars and teaching. But I was surprised he didn't make the list. But the people who did were pretty impressive.
yeah, I love this. This thing is so, I mean, I can sit here and talk to you about this for days. I just absolutely find this fascinating, and especially as a business owner. I mean, it can really, you always say 10x, it could really 10x your whole life. I mean, it's amazing. So
Can I play
go ahead.
something out? Can I just play an idea out here that's
Sure.
come from this? Imagine you're a business owner. You're not sure. Hey, you're going to, let's say you have a business, but you need help in marketing. And you say, well, let me assemble a mastermind of the best marketers, and you get, a Russell Brunson and, Dice in there. And you get these people that are the greatest in that. And now you feed your information about your business and you ask questions about that. They can help you put together. And I'm kind of gutting my own business because I have a marketing business, but it can actually do that with you and for you. And now, if you don't do it yourself, here's what you could do is now you hire a company like me and said, hey, what would you put together? And if it doesn't match up with what you feel comfortable with, but what your experts have said, that could be a filter, right? Or you could give it to them and say, this is what I want to have you do.
Well, I think what you're going to find, and I believe this to be true, which is why I'm going to say it, is that most people, again, don't have the bandwidth to go try to figure this stuff out. I like to pay for stuff to be done. I don't, or I want to, harangue my friends into giving it to me, but I don't want to necessarily do it all myself. So there's some things I want to do myself, but there's other things I don't. And so I think having somebody like you in their corner is a huge benefit. I know some of the BNI guys, that's Business Networking International. For those of you who don't know, it's a networking group that Jeff and I both go to. Although he didn't want to sit by me this week, and that really disturbed me. I'm still upset about that. But anyway.
I did.
You did. I know I did.
Grudgingly.
Grudgingly. I don't know why, but grudgingly. I was clean. I don't understand.
Everything
but anyway.
was good.
Okay.
It was me. I was in a mood. It wasn't you.
Okay. So maybe just hated all women at that moment. I don't know. But anyhow, I know there are people in the BNI group that have come to you for support for their AI automation projects and content creation, and your content accelerator, is amazing. And that helps create content for people that either don't know how to create it or don't have time to create it. And it creates it quickly and efficiently, and it really gets them everything they need in one little package. A lot of us are out there trying to, create our own content when you can do it like lickety split. Right. So there's always going to be a place for people like you, especially right now, and especially because you're on the cutting edge. I can't emphasize that enough about how much effort you've put into getting. I know this sounds like the Jeff fan club today, but I'm genuinely and sincerely sincerely mean this, that the amount of effort that you've put into learning all these things and continue to stay on the cutting edge and continue to try to find things that help people is admirable at minimum. And, I don't know, I don't have a superlative for how great I think it is, because truly this stuff's hard. Everybody makes it, AI, I can do this, and ChatGPT, this and that. I read a stat this morning that I forget how many millions of questions get asked a day on ChatGPT. I mean, just zillions of them.
Must be huge. Huge.
Yeah, and everybody uses it differently. I told you my daughter uses it to do medical analysis for her blood work and things that she gets done. Her age group is very much into health. nowadays. They want to monitor their blood, and they go to holistic medicine, and they take supplements and things like that. And so she's at the age where she has to manage her hormones and, those kinds of things. So she uses AI for that.
What if she assembled a team that she could always talk to about things like that? So she
I'm
has
going to
your group of
recommend it
experts,
to her.
right?
Yeah, I'm going to recommend it to her, because you can ask AI who those experts are. This is the part that gets you. If you don't know, you can ask AI, who should I be tapping the brains of in order to get this information so that I can set up my own mastermind group. I mean, it's just infinite. The possibilities are staggering.
Yeah.
And every day you come back with, oh, look I tried this. I'm like, oh crap, now I got to do that. It's like.
While I was at pickleball this morning, one of the gentlemen there, he is the principal for a high school here locally in our area. And I said, this is a tool, if we did this correctly, that every student could have on their phone, and it has their ideal teachers for that grade to not just give them the answers, but be set up in such a way that that gets them engaging, right, and talking this stuff through for their age group or their grade level, and could test them the whole thing. It's all right there on their phone. And it actually could be a voice agent. So now you can have them actually interacting. And I think that would help from a social skill standpoint too. And he thought, oh my God, that's a great idea. So yeah, it's endless.
Yeah. A lot of teachers, just to go down that path for a minute, a lot of teachers want to discourage AI use in the classroom, but I think they should embrace it. They're not going to get around it.
No.
Because every kid's going to go home and say, hey, ChatGPT, I got to write a book report about the Revolutionary War, and I don't want to read it. So give me something that's appropriate for a ninth grader. You know what I mean? They're not going to, if they know how to ask a prompt right, that is.
Yeah.
If they don't, they're going to get something that's college level, and then the teacher's going to know. So it's like, you got to be smart about this.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I think that the possibilities are endless. It's so exciting. Terribly exciting.
I'm excited about that. I'm excited about putting that together, because again, a week ago, it wasn't even a thought in my mind of doing this.
Oh, I know. That's what you get me so excited. Not in a creepy way, but you
and I both know, we have both, over our careers and our lifespans, we have been in groups and done things like this, but it's like, it's like, hey, I have an idea I want to talk about today, but my group isn't for 4 more days. I want to do it now, so I can just open it up and have a conversation right now and get on top of it, because it may be something I want to take action on right now. And in that group, I can ask, is this something I should take action on right now? Or is this a then product or project?
What's interesting is I had a problem. I had a new service I wanted to offer, and I've talked about this before.
Yeah.
And AI said, I had this one little hiccup in it where I couldn't figure out how to get around this hiccup. And I went to AI for it and asked for a solution. It said there is no solution.
Oh.
But I don't think I asked the question properly.
Oh.
So if I rephrase it, maybe it will come up with a solution for that.
That'll be interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. Because, again, a lot of it comes back to the prompt and how you ask the questions and how you go about gathering the information is key. It's absolute key. So we're going to try that and see what happens. But this mastermind thing is amazing. So tell me who should use an AI mastermind.
Well, I don't think there's anyone who shouldn't use it. We're talking about kids in grade school, to adults, to business people, to people who want to, get better shape, or maybe they want to improve their relationship. They need to be better speakers. They need to be better parents, better spouses. I don't think there's a limit to it. If I want to be a better doctor, why wouldn't I assemble myself with the smartest and brightest minds on the planet of me being a better practitioner of whatever I'm doing?
Well, that's true. So I'm going to say this as a kind of a bottom line. It sounds like an AI mastermind group is like business coaching meets AI lab meets think tank.
Yeah, that's
right.
That's it.
So you walk away with both a strategy and systems powered by the newest, greatest, strongest tools possible, and you get support while you're doing it. You get people that are your peers or better than your peers helping you, right?
Yeah.
Would that be true?
100%. Just one little extra on that I found that I've kind of now reattached this morning was you were talking about my content accelerator, and the content accelerator was a system that was put together, a workflow was put together, and they each have prompts in each step.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's fixed. In other words, it does what it's supposed to do. It's like stamping something. It just does it every time the same way. Well, about 2 months ago, I started building and installing AI agents in there. Now, why would I do that? Well, AI agents have the ability to almost like be a supervisor on a line on a conveyor belt, if you will, and they're on the assembly line and they're checking each piece before it goes to the next person. So you have the system, and then you have the AI agent. Well, here's the cool thing is the AI agent is like having an employee that's constantly learning. So they're learning from what they're teaching and what they're seeing, and they're only getting better.
Oh, yeah.
So now with this system that I came up with this morning, this process that came up this morning, we are going all in on the AI agent because it has that ability in each one of these. As technology evolves, it's already evolving with it. It's not.
So you don't have to
outdated.
redo it. Yeah.
Mm-mm.
That's amazing.
That gives me kind of cold chills because, as I've shared in the past, like, you've asked me, why haven't I done it? Because it's always changing. And by the time I put it out, it might be old.
But now you don't have to worry about that.
This squashes that.
You better get it marketed. That's all I got to say, because it is a brilliant system. I mean, it really is. And especially for as busy as we all are, having to be able to create content with that speed and accuracy. And then you can either post it for them, that's one price package, or you can give it to them to post themselves, and that's a different price package, right?
Right.
So they can have it either way. They can either be responsible for getting it all out on social media, or they can let you do it for them. And that's brilliant, you know, and the fact that you can create blogs and posts and videos and all the stuff that it is, who could ask for more? And it's industry specific. It doesn't matter what industry it is. Mm-hmm. It goes and gets the best information for your industry. And you can tell it anything that's unique to your business when you set it up, right? Don't you have an intake thing for that? So
we do. And now our agent is we have, we'll call a scraper agent. So or a research agent. So when you come online or each week before it starts doing anything, it will research and say, hey, what's the most relevant content or problem that client is, or their industry is dealing with right now from a client standpoint. And it will come back with the ideas, and then it will send that over to the writers, if you will, and they'll put together the writing, and then it will be optimized by an SEO agent that's an expert at that, writing the proper titles and all of that stuff. So,
yeah.
If
what we're talking about sounds like gobbledygook, I would contact Jeff and hire him to help you, because I'm not kidding. He can transform your business so fast. I mean, what were you sharing Tuesday in BNI? You were sharing that somebody's views went in a very short amount of time from 100 to 1,000 in like no time. And that's people that are vetted, that want your services, that want to come to you. And people say, well, it's only 1,000. Oh my God, you only had 100 a month ago. I mean, so it's like, dude, it's a no-brainer.
That particular business, I don't want to say it by name, but that particular business, when they first came aboard, they had no content on their website. And honestly, our business is we're digital content creators. And so we were creating the content that their ideal customers would look for on the internet. And so it took a while for it to build up some momentum. It's almost like building a brick wall. When I put down one brick, it ain't a wall yet, folks. It takes some time. But once it's done, all of a sudden you start seeing the impact of that. And so when we started seeing that was in May, and they were getting 150 clicks to their website. They then, less than 30 days later, in fact, I think it was 15 days later, we pulled that up because we had hit a milestone with Google. It went to 200, then 250. And then watch this. It went from 250 June 25th to July 26th to 700. And
That's
what
amazing.
and what this client reported back again in this group we were in, he said because of what we've been doing in the month of June, they averaged now listen closely, 3 to 5 new clients a day, not phone calls, 3 to 5 new clients a day. That's exciting stuff. That makes me really happy that we were able to do that for this client. So yeah, thank you.
I need you to do that for me. Seriously. Crazy. All right. Well, I think we pretty much covered why we all need a mastermind and how to utilize the very best minds in the world to do it. And I'm so excited for you for coming up with this. I know you only came up with this morning, but as soon as I read it, I was like, oh my gosh, we have to talk about this because this is taking AI to a whole new level as far as I'm concerned. It's like just leveraging the strength and the intelligence and the opportunity that's out there. And you know me, I love a good opportunity.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun to talk about this, and I tend to geek out, and most of my friends,
Me too.
When I start talking about this, they're like, I just want to play more pickleball, or I want to play golf, or whatever. And so
your wife says, I don't know what he's talking about.
Yeah, whether I'm talking about AI or not, right?
That's my husband doesn't know what I'm talking about either, so it's all good.
So it's all good. But anyway, thank you, Leslie. I appreciate it. And you know, if any of this resonated with you, reach out and get a hold of us. Our information's somewhere around where it's at.
Do you post it on there before you put us out there on the platforms?
Yeah. Our contact information's on there, so it's you can reach out to us. But
I'm going to send this one out to everybody I know when it's ready to go, because if they don't listen to any other podcast, they need to listen to this one. Cool.
Well, you know that the cool thing about this is we record these in advance. So this was recorded, let's see, on 7:30. But it probably won't go live till probably the second week of September. Hopefully by the second week of September, we already have our new clients using this new product we're talking about. That would be really exciting.
I can't wait to hear about that one. I'm so excited. All right. Well, it's time to wrap up. What do you have? Any brilliant last words?
Just, again, I'm going to end with what I started with is we no longer live in a world of finite. It's infinite. And when you think something isn't possible, step back and say, okay, I may think it's not possible. What question would I ask to prove me wrong? And go do it, because it is possible.
So, I agree 100%.
Leslie, thank you so much.
My pleasure. Always. I love doing this with you. We have so much fun. We really do have so much fun.
All right. We'll see you on the next episode of the Twisted, Bent, and Exhausted Entrepreneur Podcast. I'm Jeff Harrison with my co-host.
I'm Leslie Spoor. See you next time.
She's over. It's really screwed.
Not that way. The other way.
She's over there. Yeah.
I'm on that side of you. At least on my screen.
Yeah, you're on the other side for me, so it's really screaming. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.